have to fight for my life. If I don't fight in the ring after my career, I have to fight in the daily life. Everybody's fighting in the daily life. You have to survive.
In Uganda, Prt2,
we don't know our worth.
We don't know our worth, our value, our potential, what we have done in the past. Prt2, because there are great leaders that also did great things in this country, and then world over are respected. We don't. Twina attitude problem, twina character problem, twina interpersonal problem, twina habit problem.
So many problems.
There are many problems that are so.
And what advice would you give someone who's trying, the boxing field? What advice would you give to them? For them to penetrate through all the problems you've just mentioned.
Life is a fight. It's not about boxing alone. Life is a fight. To struggling up for by the day. And there's no space yongerako. No space ekendera kubanga tuzaala abaana and stuff. Then we have foreigners who come and take the economy. Abayindi, China and stuff. Naye ng'omuntu alina okubeera self-driven, alina okubeera inspired, in order to aspire. Our projections are always low in Uganda. Bw'oliba achieving n'agula ennyumba n'azimba, n'agula emmotoka, alaba nga kiwedde. And the fight is on. The fight goes on paka bw'ova mu nsi. So you must keep pushing, getting strategies with kaseera, building interpersonal bantu, relationship. Kubanga relationship is the most critical factor in life. Abazungu tebagiyita networking. It's the same thing, So it's inspiring that okoze byokola nosobola obikola. And if I show you my album, you would shudder and come, what? Because I have quite some albums.
What?
Yeah, some of the
Let me feel your hands.
Some of the
How come they're not very, very hard?
Some of the biggest guys, by LL Cool J, all the big guys that were singing.
So you networked to get to?
I had time with them and some background, construction, logistics, supplies, oil and gas.
And, before we even get to that place, we get to that place, briefly tell us your transition from now, a boxer to now politics, because you once were chairperson.
From a boxer to a businessman first.
Or you went into business before politics?
Yes, because I had a shop on Kampala Road, 97, 98. Then later on, moving at Wilson Road.
Shop on
Ngoye, branding. I was when I was in chair boxing and I nyambala the brand of No Fear. Branding of advertising on me. So when I retired, Vampire Agency East Africa, and I would sell and supply Nike, Reebok, all the big brands.
The sports brands.
Yeah, sports brands. Even jeans, which share away with you.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. Never commission.
No, it was my business. I had a shop. I would buy from them and resell. Yeah. Then I get property and buying property, selling property, buying building, buying and improving the shape, the image, then sell.
How long did it take you to build Centenary Park? Is it yours to start with?
No, it's Nalong Estates. Nalong Estates is my wife.
Lady Charlotte.
Yes, Lady Charlotte, exactly. And but I've had my own, you remember when they demolished my house?
Yes.
In Bukola,
you wanted to beat people.
Irregularly, without any lawful accountability. When in Uganda, the first thing you do, take them to court. That's what they did to me. But anyway, it's
things happen. That's life.
Yeah, that's life.
Life is like a roller coaster.
Irregularities, but
before we even get to that now, let me take you back, because we've seen, boxers with a very, very hot temper. Like, you don't do nothing to them. You don't start none, they won't be none. They will beat you up. We've seen Tyson, beating up the wife. We've seen, different people beat up. Apparently, also Mayweather. I don't know how true that is. How do you contain your temper? And somehow, somewhere, we saw you, get out of, yourself angry, and you wanted, to beat up someone. How do you now contain that temper?
I think it's an assumption, because everyone has
a temper.
A time of disappointment. Everyone. And you'd be surprised that more people do it, but because they're not anywhere on camera, it will not reflect. But I think boxers are the most disciplined sportsmen, because it's an individual sport and it requires a lot of discipline. Are
there like rules and regulations?
Of course, it's a personal situation, because if you want to be a champion, you must be disciplined. You must not take alcohol. You must not go to bars. You must not, it's a very disciplining sport. And you will find out of 1 million sportsmen, maybe 4 or 5 maybe might have made some mistakes, and it's a natural thing. There's nothing abnormal about it. You don't expect any human being not to make mistakes. Yeah, even you make mistakes.
I do make mistakes. That's
true. Even husbands at home make mistakes. So there's nothing unique about it. It's just that someone is in the limelight, like Mike Tyson. Everyone will know about what happened.
Whatever
even if he sneezes, the media will run on him. That you see the guy sneezing and stuff.
He sneezed.
Yeah. So it's not a boxing thing. It's a human thing. It's humanity.
You now went into property. Do you have any properties?
I have some few properties.
Do you think you've been successful in it?
Dependent, but I don't complain.
You also have a gym.
I have a gym in Munyonyo. I'm developing a small hotel in Munyonyo, adjacent to Speak Resort, and I'm like 70% through, and hopefully I'll get money and finish.
You will.
The property.
You will. Today, the youth are watching the show, and we greatly want you guys to always inspire them. How have you been able to attain all these things? Because we've seen, like I've seen, there's some footballer, was he called Fimbo? He ended up, running mad. He ended up not having anything. He was disappointed in life.
Mukasa,
yes. So he had his prime time. He had his prime days, but he did not utilize. How are you able to utilize, and what can you tell the youth who are, willing and who are able or who want to empower themselves?
Because it's an individual aspect. You must be self-driven. You must have discipline. You must have good interpersonal, good background. Some basic education for cohesion purposes, for interpersonal purposes, communication, interrelations, and that corridor can help you anywhere, because it's not limited to any area, that sport or this or that. You must have good behavior, good interpersonal. You must have good relations, and basically that does it all. And then that creates a good image of you. Then everyone will want to work with you. Yeah, and if then you must work hard. You must be driven to work hard. Don't expect deals. Deals is not a job. Deals is a one-time off. It can take 3 years to happen. What happens to you? Where do you feed from? So you cannot think that people think that they can deal and live. You can't deal and live. You must work and live. If the deal comes up and you settle and make it, well and good, but you can't make it a job.
You can't make it a job.
No, you can't make it a job.
Later on, with time, you ended up, now venturing into politics.
Yes.
What did you get the drive from?
Well, I was, like I told you, like in the early 80s, when we went through all the turbulent moments, thrown out of Hoima, thrown out of Kampala to Nairobi, And then with all the reading I was doing was more political, and Bob Marley, one of my inspiring factor. Those guys, or the guy of Mozambique, Eduardo Mondlane, Lumumba, Prt2, our neighbor here, who passed on, was killed in a very rogue manner. And then I went and met the figure of Malcolm X, leave alone Muhammad Ali. Not the figure.
I was going to say,
figure,
wait, how old are you?
Because the figure of Malcolm X changed also my thinking to a certain level, and played some huge role. Many guys really that I met, not necessarily personally, but in reading their books. Interesting stuff.
Well, you guys, now we are switching into, now he's, you know, first of all, Muhammad Ali told him, this ugly guy with a very beautiful child. Now we're getting to that. How many kids do you have?
I have 4 kids.
4? Oh, so was it, was it, you know, love at first sight with Lady Charlotte, or?
A procedure. We met in the States. I was living in the States at that time. And I met my wife in Washington off Virginia, Virginia across the bridge. We had a Ugandan thing there. That's how we met with my wife.
So what has kept, you know, your relationship going? Because we've seen, you know, usually they say celebrity relationships never last.
Well, like I told you earlier on, it's all about your personality, your interpersonal, your thinking, your behavior. Yeah, because for me, I will meet and relate with anyone. And I will know what they want and do what they want. Yeah. So if you've met me in Owino, talking to people, you would think I work in Owino, because I know how the people there think. And I must attend to them the way they think.
These days, you know...
And for a woman, similarly, you must know how they think, how they behave, what they expect. And you toil on that angle and ensure that you don't get stress and stuff.
You don't get stress and stuff. Usually these days, men are intimidated by, you know, the success of their women. How are you able, you know, to cope with that? Because both of you are entrepreneurs and she's also good.
Well, I support my wife.
You do?
I support my wife. Like, big percentage, I support my wife. And if there's an idea and a good idea and I think it will help, I will give her the idea. And we move on. Because if your wife is not moving, she becomes an encumbrance. She must be developed and moving and in position to do the same things you can do. Otherwise, you get imbalance in the family. Yeah, so you must help and pull each other, and especially wife, to ensure that she's also productive and she's got confidence, and you also have confidence in her. If she's just a wife at home, they'll take her for granted. Anyone will take her for granted. Yes, amatatagaze, twagala sukari, you know, what do you expect? The man, even if it's you, and you have someone every day demanding for something, you get tired of it, and you never have respect for each other.
Would you support, you know, couples having joint properties, like joint bank accounts, joint everything, or you think you'd have more peace and, you know, more establishments when everyone is doing their own separate things?
I think it's more sustainable to have everyone doing their thing, so you don't bring conflicts, family conflicts and stuff, because you and the wife could have a good relationship and working order. But there are other people who have different minds within the family. When a father passes on, it's not the children that cry more.
It's the wife. It's
not the wife even, but it's uncles, this and that. They're the ones who want to grab everything.
Property, yes.
So it's critical to ensure that you have You dignify whatever you have. If your wife has something, let it be dignified. If you have something dignified, so that you don't conflict with the family, especially the secondary family.
How would you describe yourself as a father? Are you a tough one? Are you a loving one? Are you a playful one?
Dependent on the factors at site and production. For me, I want my child to be productive. I don't want my child to think that that was in Begun, it was in Begun. I want the child to know that they must produce.
They must
it's their responsibility to produce. And once you give them a foundation of education, the rest they should be able to do by themselves. They shouldn't expect to live on you forever.
Muhammad Ali had Tatiana Ali.
Yes.
Would you want your daughter or your sons to join boxing?
It depends on their wish. Life is about work. And the only value you can have is by having a good image. If you don't have a good image, no one has time for you.
Point blank, if you don't have a good image, no one has time for you guys. Well, we've seen Nyakana in your days. We've known you for the great works, for representing Uganda. But soon, maybe God knows when, how would you want to be remembered? Are you planning on leaving a school? Are you planning on leaving a foundation? What are you going to do to make sure that, like Muhammad Ali, Nyakana is also alive at all times?
Well, I don't want to be remembered. I want to satisfy myself.
You want to sustain yourself,
I want to satisfy myself that I've done ABCD. I've already had over 50 or close to 100 kids that I've assisted. Some are in Sweden, some are in UK, some are in Belgium, some are in USA, some are in Canada, through boxing. And I'm very inspired by some of them. They come back here, they say, Mzee, tukene tukulaga to Zimba, and they take you and they show you what they're doing, and it's inspiring.
When you come to boxing and you get to know boxing, it's a science, it's a piece of art, you know. That's the way I could best describe it.
You really love it.
I love it.